Hi all, welcome back to the final whistle for the late night whistle then. And yeah, what a day regarding news for Leicester City, you know. We've been starved of this, haven't we? Let's be fair. It's been radio silence and then bosh. Everything comes out of the woodwork. Hermansen, Brownhill, Kone, El Khannouss, James Justin. It is crazy, honestly. Where do we start is the main part in this show, and we're going to get your guys' thoughts as well. If anyone wants to come on and have a chat with me, feel free. Clibo, I will send a link out to you, mate, if you want to come and join me for a chat. Yeah, Craig, if anyone wants to come on and have a chat with me regarding Leicester City, links in the bio, links in the thing. Tom, how are we, mate? Hope you're good. How are you to face Sheffield Wednesday coming up? Shane Wednesday, I have no role. Not sure, mate, to be fair. Not sure what's happening regarding the game. Easy Tripe and Onions. Evening, Andrew. Evening, Scott. Evening, Fox Fanatic. How are we? Hope you're good. Craig, how are we, mate? Hope you're good. WLB. Clibo. Uncle Clibo. How ironic would it be if the deal was done and yet the last minute El Khannouss stays? Oh, watching from my sick bed. Oh, I hope you get well soon, Clibo. Guys, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you know and you haven't subscribed to the final whistle. Please get down and do so. It'll help me out massively if you can do that. Let's try and push the likes on here. 40 likes is what we're going to stick on this stream, by the way. So, yeah, let's try and get to 40 likes on the stream. Hi, Dawn. Hello. Feel better, Clibo, mate. We'll join you live from Seagrave in 10 minutes, chat with exclusive news that the players have left Seagrave. Well, I don't know what it is, but yeah. Carl, how are we, mate? Hope you're good. So. Where do we start with the news? So, right. We're going to talk El Khannouss first because we're going to get this one out of the way. So, Sacha Tavlieri is the man who first reported on El Khannouss coming to Leicester. Sacha does say a meeting was held yesterday between Leeds United and Bilal El Khannouss' camp, during which Leeds United made clear they are willing to pay the £24.5 million release clause with solidarity, contribution and taxes to Leicester City available. The release clause is until the 15th of the 8th, which is next month. We do start a new month by tomorrow, by the way. Sacha has said about a release clause. Ben Jacobs does follow up. Leeds, the latest club to inquire on Bilal El Khannouss. Leicester midfielder is a relegation clause of €26 million. Several sides in Europe and Saudi see the value in the release clause. The big question has been always this summer transfer window, Bilal El Khannouss. He seems a very much man in demand, I'll be honest. What did he score last season? 3 goals, 5 assists in all competition. And a player who wore his heart on his sleeve. And he's still a player he's not the finished article. He's not a top club player for now, like an Arsenal or a Man City or that type of thing. But the thing is, where do Leicester City sort of go with it, to be fair? I'll be honest. Because one says that release clause, another one said there's no release clause. Tom Colomosse, Rob Dorset, they say that Leicester City want to make north of £25 million. They want to make a lot of substantial investment on Bilal El Khannouss. Others say there's a release clause. Who knows? Leeds have inquired him. Bilal, I think if Leeds do get him, then he's a fantastic bit of business. He's a player who can play number 8. He can play as a number 10. He did play on the wings last season a bit for Leicester City. He's a real good player. He has got huge potential. He has a high ceiling, I'll be honest. And yeah, he's a player that gives it his all in games. And watching him in pre-season, he has been good, I'll be honest. And to be fair, a Premier League move could be very much ideal. He is one of a couple of players that are sellable assets for Leicester City on the high-end scale of things. And it would be nice to keep him, I'll be honest. But if there is a release clause, then that's what it is. But Sky Sports have said that Leeds have made the inquiries. The newly promoted Premier League side are in the market for a player that can operate on the left and through the middle after missing out on Ignor Paxo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sky Sports News previously reported it would take a bid of north of £25 million for Leicester to even consider selling the 21-year-old. So Sky Sports did say a few weeks back that Leicester City want in the region of £25 million plus for Bilal El Khannouss. Then other people say there's a release clause for like 23, 24 million pounds. So I don't know what to believe at this point. Is it all agent talk of trying to just put Leeds' name in there and then all of a sudden make other clubs come in and make it a bidding war and all that, you know? I don't know. You know what all the speculation's been like. Bilal's been linked with Sunderland. He's been linked with Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace has still remained to be interested in Bilal El Khannouss, and he's on their shortlist if Eberechi leaves this summer transfer window. So it's in my opinion, it's a difficult situation because that guy would rip the Championship up without a word of a lie. But in realistic terms, we can see him being sold if the right money comes in. So it's a hard situation, I'll be honest. Evening, Dan. How are we? Who is Leicester's goalkeeper coach? We haven't got one, mate. Well, some see Leeds as in the comments that Leeds sister side would say are Leeds even going to stay in the Premier League next season? That's the question that's going to be asked, because if they don't stay in the Premier League and they get relegated down to the Championship, Bilal's going to be in the same situation he is at Leicester. There's been no sort of indications that we don't know what's happening regarding players who wants to go, who wants to stay. There's been no indication of that at all. Fame Paul Stacker, who knows how to keep the ball out of the net. We have no choice if there is a bloody release clause. Exactly. We don't have a choice. That's the thing. Whoever sort of activates that release clause, that's where we go with it. And the thing is, if there's a release clause, I don't think Leeds would have to inquire, would they? They can just activate it and go from there and speak to the player and everything. I think that's the way they go about it. But this is what questions me about the release clause, with what I'm saying about this release situation. If there's a release clause, Leeds would have activated it instead of inquiring about Bilal El Khannouss. But if there isn't a release clause, you have to inquire more about a player and knowing how much Leicester City want for this player. So it's a bit one of them. It's confusing as it is. This thing drags on. This could probably drag on to the end of the window. Leeds can talk to Bilal's team all they like, but they don't decide the price for him. Leicester City do. Exactly. This is what I'm kind of confused about this release clause and that, you know. Do you think the game against Sheffield Wednesday will go ahead? I won't be surprised if the players pull the plug on it, I'll be honest, Ross. Yeah, so we'll see. If Bilal goes to Leeds, might as well able to swap him with either Danger. Yeah, we don't want Patrick Bamford nowhere near Leicester, a guy who didn't even score last season for Leeds United. Yeah, that's like saying, well, might as well bring Meslier in from Leeds. And what's the point in going to any promoted sides? He could be exactly my point. There's a lot of sides. Al Ahly are interested in Bilal El Khannouss. Bayern Leverkusen have been interested. Arsenal, like say Sunderland, Crystal Palace. There's a few clubs up there. Crystal Palace, I think, would be ideal because they're in Europe, aren't they? So it'd be an ideal signing for them if Eberechi Eze leaves. We need an auction, Jack, where a few clubs coming in for him. Exactly. Yeah. Elias Chair, almost 28, makes you wonder why no big club is still coming for him. Dan James is staying at Leeds. Sunderland are going for it. Yeah, they are. They brought in, is it Guyu today from Chelsea? Buyback clause if we sell Bilal. Yeah, I'd say so. Sunderland getting everyone low. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, Jason, to see what exactly happens with, can they actually break the mold this year with the Premier League it seems to be getting wider in every season. Leicester City have been linked with Leeds players like Greenwood, Mesley, so it could be cash in exchange for Leicester's financial issue, and Leeds have financial backing. Do you know what, in that situation, that would be a typical Rudkin thing. Because if Leeds sit there and say, well, Guy Greenwood, Mesley and Bamford, it's like, oh, my days, mate. That's like the worst you could offer. I'll be honest. Leeds are spending money quite well. They've had a good transfer window. I think Bilal goes there. It's a fantastic signing. Of course it is. I think they've got a great player on their hands. Greetings, Jack. Jack, tell me Bilal isn't going to Leeds. Well, they've inquired about him for now. We'll see what movement comes of these type of things, because Bilal's been in demand regarding all the speculation of all these clubs and all this malarkey with transfer clause, non-transfer clause, release clause, whatever it is, you know. I just don't know. Jack Harrison, Leicester's been linked with him for. I think Leeds pulled the plug on the last minute regarding that one. Should we charge Leeds double what they were going to charge us for a Jack Harrison? I don't know, to be fair. Steve, let us play the under-16s against Sheffield Wednesday. Wrexham made a $2 million bid for Kone. We're going to get onto him shortly. Bilal leaves. Who replaces Bilal? That's the thing. Josh Brownhill? Anyone? Might be because Chair tried. Well, I don't know about anything about that. Elm, to be fair, mate. Last season, Leeds had let Somerville go to West Ham because they triggered his release clause 25 minutes, which included Aslan, depending on how long West. Yeah. El Khannouss to Villa. Yeah, Villa have been interested this transfer window as well, haven't they? We certainly don't want Leeds' cast-offs. Yeah. That's the thing. That is the thing. Yes, Josh Brownhill would be good. I would take him personally. Guys, hit the like button. The like target tonight is 40 likes on the late night whistle. So let's try and get it to that. If we can get it past any more, you guys have done a fantastic job. If you haven't subscribed, there's 70 of you watching. So if you can all hit that subscribe button, 70 of you, that would be fantastic. It'd even take me closer to the 5K mark. So yeah, it'd be appreciated. We are going to try and get people in. If Steve wants to join, I've sent a link out. Hit the like button for the lads. It helps him to get even more eyes on his channel. It does. Yeah, it does actually. I'll be honest. It gets quite a lot of people in. I'll be fair. Right, Steve, give me the thumbs up when you're ready to come in. I don't know whether you're on your tablet or your phone, but yeah, you're probably on Football Managers, categorically speaking. Just depends on his wages, exactly. My mate, Steve, how are we?
How did you know I was going to play Football Manager, Jack? Come on now.
Steve, mate, I know when I get you on these shows, mate, I'll ask you about a certain player and you tell me about these players. Well, I don't know. Probably will ask you about Kone at some point, so you better get that one ready for me.
Oh,
right, Steve. Bilal El Khannouss has been the talking point today, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Leeds United have now inquired. Steve, the frustrating part I find about Bilal is there a release clause? Because some reports like Rob Dorset, Sky Sports, Tom Colomossi's like Leicester one in the north of £25 million. You then move on to Sacha Taglieri, Ben Jacobs, and they're like, there's a release clause. What do you believe, Steve? Because if there is a release clause, Leeds wouldn't have to inquire, would they? They'd just fully go in, get that release clause sorted. They'd go and activate it, wouldn't they? So where do you sort of stand on it, Steve?
Well, maybe they're inquiring about if there is a release clause or not. So, I would suggest that if you look at the people that are closer to Leicester,
Yeah.
Tanner said that there is a release clause, isn't there? Like 25, 26 million, something like that, I believe.
Mm,
And I'm likely to believe him more over somebody at Sky Sports, basically. So I think there probably is a release clause of around sort of 25, 26 million. It's not great when you're signing for 22, 23 million pounds, but
mm.
if that was the only way to get him through the door, it sort of makes sense that you chuck it in there and you hope you stay up, and then you agree a new deal from there. Maybe it's just a relegation release clause rather than an actual release clause. So, you know, but I'm resigned to losing him. Whoever he goes to,
Yeah.
it is what it is. You know, if it's Leeds, then we'll see him in the Championship again next year. If it's Sunderland, we'll probably see him in the Championship again next year. If it's Villa, I think he could do pretty well there. But I have a sneaking suspicion he'll go to Spurs. It makes sense for me.
Interesting call.
Mm.
I think
They want a creative attacker, don't they? And he sort of fits that bill.
I think with Leeds and Sunderland, they've seen how difficult it is for Leicester and the teams up there before. And the Premier League's widening in it with how big the gulf's coming now. These teams won't come up. They can spend whatever money they like. You look at Ipswich last season, they spent about £100 million and they still didn't stay up. Southampton didn't really spend. Leicester spent in the region of about £80 million, didn't they? But we still didn't do what we needed to do. We brought experience over quality, which cost us. Leeds and Sunderland are buying quality players. They're actually going for that sort of. They know what they want and where they need to really strengthen the areas ahead of the season and who they need to get rid of. I'm just hoping, Steve, with Leeds and Fame Pulse, big up, by the way. Leicester have been linked with Sam Greenwood in the past, haven't they? Meslier. I'm not surprised with bloody Patrick Bamford's name hasn't been linked. But I'm hoping if they are to sort of pursue with the Bilal thing, I'm hoping they don't offer some of these players in return with money on top.
Yeah, I don't want Greenwood. I don't want Meslier. You know, is he better than Jacob? I don't think so. Is Greenwood better than what we've got? I wouldn't say so. People said Jack Harrison in the chat. I mean, we tried to sign him 3 years ago and we offered him 100 grand a week and he was at the training ground, and then Leeds pulled the deal and offered him a new deal. And then he went to Everton when he got relegated. So, you know, there's history with Harrison. But again, are we offering contracts out to or potential sorry, my cats, go away. You know, offering out money to these players that will come in, but are they going to really replace who we've got? And is it going to be a stumbling block for the younger lads? You know, I don't really want somebody coming in that's going to block a pathway for the young lads. So, you know, there isn't many people in. I mean, okay, Leeds have got some better players than us for sure, and in the Premier League, but they're cast-offs. You know, we shouldn't be going after people's casts-off, really. And you were talking about like them going up and spending money. I think the big thing we forget is that we lost our manager at the start of last season. You know, it took us a little while to replace him, and we changed styles completely. So transfer strategy pivoted quite quickly when we lost Enzo to Cooper. So I think if we had Enzo on board, we wouldn't have purchased IU and Cordova-Reid and those sort of players. He would have gone for more technical players, maybe across Europe, because you know he was the one that said to Leicester that we should sign Mads because they'd seen him at Man City, they'd already scouted him, and he thought, "Oh, I'll come in. He's a decent ball playing goalkeeper." So yeah, it's not really comparable to us last year because we wasted money, but then a whole strategy has changed right at the start, and it's really frustrating actually because I think if we had kept Enzo, we probably would have stood a better chance of staying up, and then we could have seen Spurs or Man U go down. You know, that would have been nice. It really annoys me that we robbed the Premier League of a genuine opportunity to get rid of one of those two for a season.
Yeah, I agree. One that I wanted to touch on you with Leeds actually staying with them, Steve, is where is it? James Justin. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Year left on his contract. Leeds, according to Sebastian Vidal, I don't know how creditable he is with his sources and that, but He has come out and said that Leeds United are pushing to sign James Justin. They're seeing him as a second fiddle type of to their first choice fullbacks.
Mhm.
James Justin has a year left on his deal. How much is James Justin worth in this sort of market, and would you consider selling him?
First off, yes, I consider selling him, mainly
Okay.
because he's got a year left on his deal. I felt sorry for him last year because he wasn't, he was made a scapegoat for a lot of the goals, but
Yeah.
his defensive partner was at fault for quite a lot of them too. I think genuinely, if you look at him and his year left on his contract, he's had a couple of serious injuries. He is an England international, but that was a while ago. You're probably looking at about 8 million maximum. Maybe 10 if they say it with add-ons, that sort of thing. But I think a lot of Leicester fans, and I'm guilty of this myself, we overestimate what our players are actually worth. And I don't
Yeah.
think James Justin is. I mean, if we stayed up, then he could easily be worth sort of 15, 20 million. But in the Championship with a left, I wouldn't risk losing him on a free transfer in the summer. So, 8 million, I'd be happy with. If we get more than that, great. But if it means that we can then have a Luco and, other players come through, then I'm happy.
Fair enough. WLB says, how much did we pay for El Khannouss? I think it was about £19 million with add-ons, wasn't it, Steve?
Yeah, it was about 22 million euros. So, yeah, 19 million there or thereabouts.
Works out. I mean, what we're talking at the minute, about £24.5 million. So it'd make us about £5.5 million. But then I think they've got a sell-on clause, haven't they, Genk?
Yes, isn't it like 10% of profit? So,
yeah.
The thing is, it's not a significant amount, but when it comes to balancing the books, and we've been really, I don't know how close we are last year to this year with books and stuff. Every million helps. So
Yeah.
it's important to make sure we get as much as we can. If that's a release clause, then that's a release clause.
What about the sell-on clause? I mean, I'm sure Leicester City will put a sell-on clause with Bilal because they're going to have to. They want to make money from him. Of course they will. I think Genk are going to want to make money again as well for future sales. So let me have a look. What's Terry saying? Where are we? Changing the subject a bit. Will the new shirts be on sale this weekend? Mate, I don't even know what the new sponsor is going to be or where it actually is going to be, to be honest. I've not got a clue.
So do you want me to give you a little bit of behind the scenes, Jack?
Go on then.
I've heard more whispers that a certain football club is very much trying to get out of a certain contract with a certain company that we were allegedly linked to.
Right.
So I've heard on the grapevine that the reason why, because it would have been released with the sponsor last week, if there wasn't any uproar and any questions about it, it would have been released. But the reason there's a delay is because the club are potentially looking to get out of the deal, which would then potentially open up to King Power being the sponsor for the season. Because how quick can they get a sponsor in? So I'm not in the know. I'm not in the. I don't just say this now. I'm not in the know. I just hear little bits and pieces from certain people that messaged me about it previously.
What's your thoughts on what Pete said here? It's actually not a terrible strategy. If you want to bring players who could be playing at a better performing club, instead of paying too high wages, give them a low relegation clause.
I mean, it works, but the problem with that is in football, the balance sheets, if you spend £25 million on a player and then you sell them a year later, you need to be able to cover that in the balance sheet, because otherwise it goes down as a loss at a certain point. So, yeah, there have been clubs that have come up and offered players relegation release clauses. Leeds are famous for offering relegation loan clauses. If you remember, when they went down, they loaned out 6 or 7 players because of the clauses. That's how they got players through the door. So, yeah, I'm not a massive fan of relegation release clauses, especially when we keep going up and going down again. I'd rather not have them, but it's 21st century. You're going to have them anyway, aren't you? That's the problem.
Michael thinks Jack Harrison would be a decent signing, but he's not willing to drop down to the Championship.
But he's on 120 grand a week at Leeds.
That's what I
Do
mean.
we really want to be dropping? Yeah,
Nah.
we've just got rid of Vardy on 140. Do we want to offer 120 for Jack Harrison?
Come on, Patson Daka's worth easily 50 million.
But in regards to the transfers, out of all of the 9 players that are out of contract in the summer next year, I would be open to offers on all of them, even Harry Winks, because as much as I think he'd fit the system really well with Marty, and he bossed the championship 2 years ago. If he walks away on a free transfer next year, we're all going to be saying, "What the fuck?" We let another player leave for nothing. Whereas if you can get money for them now, get money for them. But that's Leicester's problem. We don't do that. That's the issue.
This is the problem. It's the bloody wage strategy and that Leicester City go with, which needs to be a massive comprehending, sorting that mess out. If JJ goes, we'll bring in from Wolves.
I don't think we'd bring anybody in. Well, we could, but I think Marty is looking at Aluko as a player in the squad now. He's quick. He can play across the back four. So why would you want to go and spend money on a player when he's 18? He's looking well ahead of him of the years that he's played at the club already. He looks like a professional footballer already, to be honest.
I agree. With a year left on the contract, I don't think you'll get much more than 6 million for James Justin.
No, exactly. Yeah, 6 to 8 million there or thereabouts.
No chance you get 8 million for JJ. Where you now? What did we buy him for, Steve? We're at about £7 million from Luton.
Oh, I thought it was 5, but it could be there or there.
They add on bonuses and whatever, don't they?
Yes. But did he sign a contract when he got injured?
I swear he did.
Because it would all be classed as profit now, wouldn't it? Rather than
I thought even lots of money was saying the kits were available with no sponsor. I don't think. I think you can have the non-sponsor when the shirt comes out. If you don't want it, you can sort of, if you order it, you can say I don't want the sponsor on it, and the club will do that. I think that's how it works. I don't think you can just sit there and say we don't want it now. I'd held Bilal to his contract and let Hermansen go and Kone. I wouldn't put anybody, as I think we at depth in the club, go up and then spend. We need a striker. Steve, have you got any sort of people you actually think? Obviously, the Chelsea striker, which you much would have loved at Leicester City, has gone to Sunderland today on loan. Is there any more you can really think of that could really come in at Leicester?
Well, people keep talking about Richard Kone at Wycombe. He made the step up from non-league to Wycombe, has played quite well there. Can he make another step up? Possibly. He's fast, he's strong, he can hold the ball up. So, I'd be open for that. But the problem now is that the market is so saturated with crap strikers.
I agree,
Frank. If it means that if we can get up, the annoying thing is that as much as I don't like Daka as a footballer, if he gets a consistent run in the side, he could score 10 to 15 goals this season. And we've got really good wingers. So do we... Yes, I want a striker, and I'd like Kone. I would have taken Adebayo at Luton if he wasn't injured. That would have been a good signing. But if it means chucking money around when you can maybe get to January with Daka and see how he's getting on, maybe wait until then and then see how it is. Oh, I hate that, Jack. I hate that.
Well, you thought about it. You ruined it, mate.
Or are you as well, I guess? Oh, God.
Do you know what, Jordan? I've got a hot take here where I think he could actually get 10 plus goals for Leicester this season.
I think he could. I think the Championship is his level. And quite a lot of the defenders in the Championship are poor. So, it could happen.
Aluko could do well in a back three with Nelson and Kone. No need to get someone in. We've got depth, haven't we, in the full-back position. We've got Koulibaly. He hasn't really been seen much in pre-season. We've got Ricardo. Luke Thomas is there as well, can also do a job. Aluko's at the club. He can play right back if needs be. He can play centre-back as well. And then we've got Victor Christian, who doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Hamza Chowdhury, who can play as a full-back. So I think we're stacked in that positioning. So if one of them do leave like Justin, then you're like, okay, then we have got enough. We don't have to replace him. We just take
Well,
the money.
no, yeah, exactly. But I've been saying this
5
for a
mil.
couple of weeks now. But
Yeah.
we are going to be a late window club this season. I mean, a lot of our deals will go out in the last week, and a lot of the deals will come in on the last week. So it's whoever's available in the last week of the window, and that's the biggest issue. If we sell Mads and we get 25 million for him, then and we can bring in a striker, great. But we won't see a lot of players leave. That's for sure. Until the end of the window, I mean.
Kone, Jack's #1 target. This guy, before was berating me on Danny Rowe, right? He thought me and Danny Rowe were best friends, right? Because I wanted him, right? And now he's saying, I'm like, I can't think of any other striker. If I say Josh Sargent, I just think I sound deluded because we're not going to pay 20 million quid. So
no, and he's not good enough for the Premier League either.
That's Millwall, yeah.
Yeah, that's our biggest issue is that we're going to try and sign a striker, but he's got to be able to make the jump up to the Premier League. And Sargent, I think he's in that Darren Huckabee zone where he's too good for the Championship, but not good enough for the Premier League.
Like you said earlier, Jordan Ayew could do well. Do you know what? I think Jordan Ayew, right, with the players around him, Monga, Fatawu, Mavadide, people blaming it on a play for him. I think he scores 9 times out of 10. It'd be a poacher next season in the box all day.
Well, I think he could do pretty well in the Championship, but again, we're relying on players that really. Well, I guess he did try a little bit last year, but a lot of the players that are going to be starting a week on Sunday are players that we wanted out of the club, and now we're going. Oh, well, they could do the job in the Championship. Like the flip from where we were last season to where we are now is, it's given me whiplash.
Yeah. JJ was undisclosed. Fee was rumoured to be around £8 million. Harry Souttar will be back in the new year, so there's another centre-back we can ideally use if we need to. I know he has a lot of understandable hate, but Daka has pressed so well and makes the system work goals. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, but we saw him against that.
We
club
say
on
this
Friday
every season, though, don't we? Can Patson do something, then it just doesn't seem to work out. It's like we jinx it.
Exactly. Like he had that one-on-one and ended up hitting the corner flag. There's not many strikers that I know that would get through on goal who's quick and be like, all right, he's going to put it. No, he's at the corner flag. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's the thing with him. He is a confidence player, of course he is. But in the Championship last time, before he went to the AFCON, he scored. When he come back from the AFCON, he fell over more times over the ball than he scored goals. And you're thinking, nah, this guy ain't it. And then you're getting Tom Cannon ahead of him, and Tom Cannon scoring goals. But then Tom Cannon goes and leaves to go to Stoke when we probably should have kept Cannon and got rid of Daka. So I just don't know. Cifuentes will be probably like the 5th manager or so now to look at Patson Daka. Obviously, he's a happy chappy, isn't he, Daka? I like his passion. He's just a happy person. He brings vibes, but him as a footballer, when it comes to scoring goals and that, he hasn't got the level that we need to, and it's proved it. In Austria, he were banging them in for fun, but he's really struggled since he's come over to England in playing in the English league.
It might be also because his strike partner in Salzburg was Holland, wasn't it? So maybe he plays better in a 2-striker system.
That's what I was thinking.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Daka is. I guess I'd be happy if I was on 40 odd grand a week and not really playing football. It'd be a nice life to live, isn't it? Let's be honest.
He's on a comfortable wage, Daka. I think he's one of the highest earners at the club. Is it about 70 grand? I think it is 80 grand. It's one of them. I know him and Samara are on quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd be happy for that. But look, give until January. See how he is. I don't think anyone will come in for him anyway, and I don't think we're going to get much money for him in January if he needs to be. And he'll leave him free in the summer like everyone else, and then we'll be scratching around for another striker. And no doubt we'll bring in, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's just been released by his other club.
Apparently wanted 150 grand at Leeds, and Leeds said no chance.
Yeah, but that's Leeds. That's not John Rudkin. You know,
No.
he loves a bargain at 150 grand a week.
Check out Saleh from Cardiff. I don't even know who that is.
Well, there's another striker at Cardiff that I quite like the look of, and it's Ekatike. Hang on.
Lad from
Yeah.
Millwall in January, if he's another decent. Is it Ivanovic at Millwall? He's highly rated.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks pretty good. Yeah, Dane Scott looks pretty good as well. Sorry, I was reading what Frankie said in the chat. Yeah, Keon Atite at Cardiff, you know, sort of early 20s. But then again, not really proven at Cardiff. He's going to be in League One next year. He might score some goals. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, they have a better scouting system than we do. You got to hope so, at least, anyway.
John sort of hit the nail on the head there, hasn't he? We need a striker with our state of affairs. Any proven quality is not going to come.
Exactly.
It's true. They're going to look at Leicester's situation and think, nah, straight away. Yeah. And this is what we need to persuade these people that this ain't the case.
Well, I mean, all you need to do is say, don't worry, guys. Look, we'll give you a 4-year deal and we'll give you 40 grand a week. But if you don't want to leave, that's okay. Just come here. We'll walk your dog for you. You know, you get fed. It's a little spa. We've got a golf course. It's fine. And no doubt, everyone will be like, okay, cool.
Cool. We'll do that at a weekend. Agpom.
Yeah. Agpom, yeah. I mean, he's been... Ajax want him gone, don't they? So he'd do all right.
Salek is 23, is impressed since joining Cardiff. He'd be around £3 to £4 million in January. Scored 9 goals. You don't want relegation players, though, do you? Let's be honest.
No, not really. Not really.
Someone mentions Kiefer Moore.
No, thank you. This is a bit where we're sort of kicking ourselves for selling Cannon to Sheffield United, because he could have easily been the starting striker this season if we'd kept him. Right.
I want to touch on one man here, actually. Okay. And I want to talk to you about this man, Josh Brownhill.
Yeah, this is controversial.
This is your story, this now, because on Twitter you've been going back and forth regarding this. I've seen it all day. Josh Brownhill's been offered a long-term contract by Leicester City. It is a lucrative deal. I don't know how lucrative it is or long-term it is. It could be 3 years. It could be 4 years. I don't know the specifics in what Leicester's offered. I don't watch them on the phone or at FaceTime in Brownhill's agent or what. You know, I don't know what's happening. But Burnley offered him a 3-year contract. Didn't want it. Refused. And apparently he was on 40 grand at Burnley. They wasn't willing to change their wage structure at all to any higher than what they were paying him last season. What's your thoughts on Josh Brownhill? Scored 18 goals last season in an attacking midfield. He played central midfield. He played CDM. He's a real box-to-box midfielder. He's a leader, captain at Burnley. Got 2 promotions in his CV to the Premier League. Did all right in the Premier League, but a real good championship midfielder as a whole. How do you sort of look at it with Josh Brownhill? Do you think we really need to sell players first before sort of looking at this sort of transfer?
So my issue, yes, he's a very good central midfielder and cam in the Championship. But, and this is where I got a lot of hate earlier on Twitter. One guy said that I should stick to FIFA, which I don't really pay FIFA that much, but okay. He's only scored more than 10 goals once in a Championship season in his career, and that was last year. So if you're going to offer somebody the chance to play, would you rather give somebody like Josh Brownhill a go, who again is a decent player, would fit our system really well? But if you're going to offer him 50 grand a week, 40 to 50 grand a week over a 3 or 4 year deal, and let's be honest, this is Leicester, it will be 50 odd grand a week on a 4-year deal.
You're doing 100 grand, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, that's what we do. Over somebody like Will Alves or Jerry Monga who can play in the centre, you know, I would rather not block the pathway for one of our younger lads. So my biggest problem is that this is Leicester City. We chuck money around like it's nobody's business, thinking it'll be okay. He's not proven in the Premier League. You said he did all right. I don't think he did great, in all honesty. And if you're going to give a 29-year-old who's going to be 30 in December a 3 to 4 year deal with no sell-on value, because there'll be nobody that want to buy him 2-3 years down the line, on that sort of money, we've been stung before. We have players that are that sort of age, and we can't shift them. So why would you take the risks? If he comes in on 40 grand a week, 45, maybe even 50 grand a week on a 2-year deal with a 1-year option, I'm fine with that, because at least means that we can cut off after 2 years. If we don't get promoted, he stays next year and he'll do all right. And then we can say, okay, great, cheers, mate, off you go. But any more than that, it's just a risk that is going to be blocking the future of Leicester. Because yes, we've got Monga, we've got Evans and those players now, but there are players in the academy that are coming through that, you know, are on the same sort of level as those players. You know, you hear reports that we've got a couple of sort of 12, 13, 14-year-olds at the moment that are really good. And if you keep Josh Brown for 4 years, it's going to take a place up for one of these lads potentially.
Steve, Craig says Brownhill to replace Bilal.
Again, if the money's correct, great, bring him in. But Burnley's system last year was to soak the pressure up and hit him on the counter attack. I don't think we're going to be playing that way this year.
No.
So would he fit the system? And then also, is he going to get ahead of, if they don't leave, Samare, Ndidi, Winks, Skip, Alves? You know, we've already got, that's 5 midfielders. Hamza Chowdhury's 6. You know, he's probably better than the majority of them. Yeah. But are you willing to spend money on a player and then have those other players in the squad still that are just taking up wages? So I think we need to sell before we can even consider bringing other people in.
I agree. I do think free agents / loans are better though, aren't they, with the current PSR situation? Because we're not going to spend a hell lot of money. He's been linked with West Ham and Everton. He wants to go to Leeds. He admires Leeds' project, which you can understand, Premier League football. But if Leeds sign Bilal El Khannouss, they're not going to look at Josh Brownhill. They're not going to be even interested in probably signing him, because Leeds want a centre attacking midfielder. And if they sign Bilal, they're not going to want to sign both. And this is where Brendan Harrington for Leeds. He's not going to get much game time if Bilal's in the team.
Well, exactly. And Jacob, the very famous Burnley fan that, you know, who's all over Twitter, who does a lot of our analysis, he said that he's not good. And he's a Burnley fan and he loves Josh Brownhill, but he says he's not Premier League quality. So why would Leeds take a punt on a player that isn't Premier League quality? And that's the man that likes Josh Brownhill, has watched him for years and supports Burnley and wanted him to stay. And he knows he's not Premier League quality.
He's got very much Championship experience, but it's Leicester having to take that risk in it again of sorting out a smart deal. But then smart deals with Leicester City are well over the odds of what we actually need to spend rather than what we do. Josh Sargent or Datro Fofana? That's what Fame Pulse is saying regarding potential strikes. Obviously, Datro Fofana has been linked with Leicester City in the past, hasn't he? When Enzo Maresca were here. He's obviously been at Burnley, hasn't he? Datro Fofana. Didn't really work out great, did it, for him? Josh Sargent is going to cost us in the region of £20 million if we do decide that way, but we're not going to spend £20 million just on our striker, because that's going to be daft. What's your thoughts regarding them two, like, realistically?
I think Fofana's more realistic than Sargent. You know, I like Sargent, but he's not Premier League quality. He's a very much a Championship player, and 20 million for a player that hasn't really proven himself in the Premier League, not ideal. I think Fofana is more of a likely option because you can get him in on loan, and then see how he performs and go from there. Yes, he didn't do great at Burnley, but again, circumstances are completely different here compared to Burnley. You know, if you're soaking up the pressure and hitting on the counter attack, is he the sort of striker you need? Whereas if you're going to hold on to the possession a bit more and he can press, then he'd fit the system well. And also, he's a cheaper option out of the two. So I'd be happy with Fofana.
Yep. Hey up, Will Mellett.
No. Shut up, Ross. Shut up.
Our squad is just so bloated. That's why they need to sell. He has spoke quite highly, hasn't he, Steve, regarding wanting to smallen this squad and really trim it. But the thing is with Leicester, you don't know who wants to go and who wants to stay, do you? And this is the situation. He's now been here a few weeks, hasn't he, to really look at this squad and think, this is the situation we're at. He took 30 players to Austria. How does he go on about trimming this squad? Because the first part when teams look at our squad is going to be, it's not transfer fees, it's the wages that they're on. So how do you, are people really going to want to take a punt on these players that have got a year left on the contract?
So listen to the Big Strong Little Boys podcast earlier, and Rick made a very good point. You know, with certain players in the squad, you just shake hands and say, look, you know, go and find yourself a club. But it shouldn't have been down to the manager to make those choices. I think when you've got relegated, there should have been the back, you know, Rookin or whoever should have said to several of those players, look, you know, we're moving you on. Doesn't matter who we bring in. You know, you can't afford to have you on the book. So go find yourself a club and then put it all in their hands. And when the manager comes in, say to them, look, these are players that we need to sell. You know, don't even consider putting them in the preseason. We need them gone. And force the hands, but we don't do that. That's the main issue. And yes, he said that he wants a shorter, trimmed squad, but if you can't shift those players,
done, innit?
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, I think what Rick said earlier is you know, shake the hands and say thank you very much. Go find a new club.
Yeah,
but they're not going to find a club that's going to give them those sort of wages. So you're going to have to pay them off. And if you pay them off, it's going to cost you millions. And that's FFP, sort of PSR situation again. So maybe it'll be a situation where we loan a player out again. But again, as I said earlier, I think we're going to be a late last week transfer window sort of club this year. We'll see a lot of movement towards the end of the season because I think the good thing about having 1 or 2, 3 or 4 games actually before the end of the transfer window is you can see the players that he wants to play and he wants to pick. And those that aren't in the squad will have a sure indication of, well, you're not welcome at the club. You know, if you can't find a club, great, we'll potentially bring you back into the fold. That's okay. But you're not in my plans. Please leave. And if you can't leave, then you train with the under-21s.
Yeah, that's exactly how you do it. I mean, Leicester are on TV, aren't they, quite a lot in the first 4 games. So give teams to have a chance to look at our players. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it gives them a good opportunity on Sky Sports.
Well, that's if we actually get a starting, you know, if we actually manage to play Sheffield Wednesday on that Sunday. You know, I'll be really annoyed if the season kicks off and we have to wait 3 or 4 more days to go to Huddersfield rather than actually Sheffield Wednesday. That'll be really annoying.
I said that. Tried that with Yannick Vestergaard. That was the rumour about Vestergaard, wasn't it, Steve, at the start of the summer? They were actually going to pay his contract off, and then obviously he's got a 3-year deal at Leicester. I don't know how he's managed to bloody pull that off, I'll be honest. Enzo sorted that before he'd left, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, but this is the issue. Vestergaard, he's not going to want to leave because he's on too much money. Yeah,
it's going to cost us like 8 or 9 million to get rid of him. You know, for the last 2 years of the contract, and the club just won't pay that. And he'll probably come in and he'll start a week on Sunday. You know, did you see my tweet in regards to the starting 11? That's what I can see. Genuinely, I can see that being the starting 11 for the season, because we all want Nelson and Monga and Alves and these sort of players coming in, but you know, the manager will pick the strongest squad that he's got, and even though if we don't like these players as fans because we think they're shit. Yeah. A manager that works from day in, day out will have completely different opinion to what we have. So Wout Faes might actually be Beckenbauer in training, and he'll pick him. You know, Vestergaard will be an incredible ball-playing defender because he was a year and a half ago. Whereas, you know, he's not had the history with Rodgers, and he's a new manager. So, yeah, I can see those players starting, and it's going to be really annoying. You know, especially if we batter Sheffield Wednesday, because then you're cheering for players that you think are a bunch of pricks.
Yeah. I agree. Let's get on to the next one. We'll stay on the striking option. This man, Richard Kone, I mentioned him a few weeks ago to you. They want in the region of £5 million now instead of 7. Ipswich, Norwich, Leicester and Middlesbrough are all interested. So we're turning into interested FC once again. Swansea have reportedly made a £4.5 million bid according to BBC Sport Wales. Richard Kone scored 18 goals last season in about 43 or so appearances. He obviously had two managers last season, didn't he? One ended up going to Luton, who were doing very well. And was it Bloomfield who went to Luton in the end?
Potentially. I don't know the ins and outs, to be honest.
Fitted the style of football. I think he scored 16 goals when he was there. But then when it come to the second half of the season under the new manager, he scored 2 goals. It dropped in form, couldn't get along with the style of football. I think he's a player who's very much, you need to play to that style, what he can be used to. Maybe Cifuentes football would stick to him. Maybe it'd work him a lot more. I think that step up to the Championship, I think, would ideally work him. I was watching Callum Fowler earlier on, and he was talking quite highly of him. And he said he's 22-year-old, still huge development to have. He's a very good player, and he'd be good enough for any of the teams in the Championship if they're to snap him up. And Leicester are interested and desperate for a striker. So what do you sort of think? Could we potentially look at Richard Kone potentially?
Yeah, I think so. He's in the right sort of ballpark figure. 7 million, even 5 million isn't a massive amount of money to spread over a 4 or 5 year contract, and he's still young. He's quick. He can hold up the ball. He can finish, and I think that's the biggest thing. We're going to get a lot of chances this season because we've got good wingers. So you need a striker in there that's tall and that can finish, or just be on the end of the ball, and he can do that. So, will he score some goals off his arse like Patson? Probably. But I would prefer a new young striker over a player that we've currently got. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I think he could easily do a job for quite a lot of the teams. And just putting the ball in the back of the net. That's all he needs to do. As long as he does it, we're happy.
Agreed. Guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. The like target tonight is 40, so if we can get past that, fantastic, or even reach it. I don't know what we're bloody on at the minute. I can't really have a look. Matt Dodge, he was the man that just terrible football, according to Wycombe fans when you talk to them. But who do we want to go with next? Should we go with Mads Hermansen, or do you want to go with Kone?
Oh, God. That's like picking. No, I'm not going to say it again. Let's go with Cody. It's a bit easier, that one.
Right, Kone. Wrexham have made a bid of £2 million. That backs up Peter O'Rourke's statement, because sometimes you take the football insider with a pinch of salt. Wrexham have made a £2 million bid. It's understood the 32-year-old would be open to exploring a move to the Championship club if a deal is agreed. Rangers made an approach for the England international last month. Kone did more talking on his podcast than he did on a football pitch last season. Talked a good game about his getting out his relegation battle with a group of lads, and we never ended up doing exactly what he says. It seems to be words rather than actions, in my opinion. They talk about him as a leader. He definitely wasn't that last year. It hasn't been his great time at Leicester, and maybe it is time to say, okay, Kone, you're on big wages. We've got to get rid of you, mate. You've got a year left. We're not going to get £8 million, what we paid from Wolves for him. So we're just going to accept probably about £3, maybe £4 million, but then £2 million would even get him gone as well. So what's your thoughts on Wrexham bidding £2 million for Kone?
Well, it's the perfect fit for them to have a front-facing media personality. He'd fit in well in the documentaries and stuff. So, great for him. If it's $2 million and we clear the wages off the books, great, get him gone. He's not been the player that we signed, in regards to like the potential. He didn't really feature under Enzo. And then, last season, my biggest annoyance is him twerking for Wolves in January, and then the away game when he was sort of clapping. We'd just been battered, and he clapped them off, and was saying goodbye, and then he posted that, thanks to all the Wolves fans or whatever. The post on Instagram, that. Excuse my French, but fuck him off. I can't stand him. There are so many players in the squad that I can't stand, but he's right at the top of the list. Because he just talks and he talks and he talks and he talks, but he just speaks bollocks. And I speak bollocks. I'm aware of that, but he does it professionally, and that's really annoying.
Fox Fanatic says there's a reason Marty made him captain and gave him the full 90 in the last game. He will start versus Sheffield Wednesday if he's still here. Do you think that's a true
probably.
fact?
Yeah, I think Vestergaard and Fast start over him, to be honest, but he could be in with a chance of starting for sure.
Vestergaard and bloody Cody last game. Jesus Christ, man.
Mm.
Cody
But
needs
don't worry,
to
we're going to be playing against 16-year-olds, so it's going to be fine.
He's not the defender he was once. I agree. He's not what he was at Wolverhampton Wanderers. He was quite good at Wolves. A very, very good leader. I just don't think he's not once did that at Leicester. Get him gone. Yeah. £2 million, take it. Yeah, we've got to be sort of looking at it for these players now, aren't we, Steve? I know sometimes we're going to look at taking these lower transfer fees for some of these big players on these wages, but maybe that's something we're going to have to do at some point in this transfer window.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're going to take a hit on players. But as I said, the 9 players that are out of contract in the summer, if you can get just enough to get them above as a profit on the PSR, then great. I'm happy with that. You know, there's not a lot of money. Samari will be sort of 4 million. Justin will be, you know, he's signed a new contract, so maybe sort of 2 or 3. You know, Fass will be 5 million, but who's going to pay 5 million for what Fass? You know, not a chance.
Does it surprise you though? You know, like looking at the last 2 games, you look at the first squad and the second squad. Do you think some of them are like he's sort of trying to get them in the shop window for teams to actually have a look at?
Well, I said that the first squad that played was clearly the I'm not sure prove something to me squad with a couple of younger lads sprinkled in, like, you know, Will Alves and Ben Nelson. But then they both did. I know Nelson played some minutes in the second friendly. I'm not sure if Alves did. Yeah, so all of the players that played in that first game, I'd be quite happy with quite a lot of them leaving. You know, all the ones that not the younger lads, but the older lads for sure. You know, because they just don't care. They just don't care. So yeah, I think he split it on purpose. There was definitely the second squad was definitely stronger because Kone or whatever they were stronger than the first team that we played.
Fiorentina are even more tougher side going into
yeah. Are you going to that?
Yes, I'll be there.
Yeah, I'm in 2 minds. Like I can go, I'm available, but do I want to go and watch Leicester get beat by Fiorentina before the season starts?
Samara might actually turn into Patrick Vieira and be unstoppable that game.
Yeah, 1 game. That'll be, and then I'll get glazed up on Twitter again by somebody saying he's really good. Give him a chance. No, piss him off.
Talking about Booba, someone put something on Twitter the other day. He put hot take on one of the hot take things. He said Booba Samara is an attacking 6, a further forward 6. What do you reckon?
Is that a hot take? I would say that's probably.
It's something that someone doesn't believe he could, but then he's sort of saying, well, okay, well, maybe it could work. I don't know. That's probably my hot take. That's his hot take for the season. Booba is as a more advanced 6.
But the issue is, it's his work rate. So in that advanced position, he's going to need to go forwards and backwards, and he just can't do it. So, you know, at this point, a statue of Jamie Vardy will probably be more mobile on the pitch than Boubakary Samare. And yes, okay, he did it. He took on a couple of players against, you know, a lonely Ukrainian team. Hungarian side, sorry. You know, okay, great. I guess he can do it against the Hungarian sides. That's great. Yeah. He can probably do it against Salford in the Carabao Cup if he wants to as well.
He's doing it. He's a good player in the Championship next season. That's what sort of frustrates me about him, Steve. That you see something, a glimpse of it, and you think this guy could have something, and then you go and watch him the game after, and it's like, oh my god, man, where is that sprinkle of magic? What you were doing last game? Where is the consistency, man? Like, it's like Martin Cifuentes is going to have to really try hard with Booba if he is to see him as a potential squad player. He's going to have to really somehow find what the real problem is.
Yeah, I was excited when we signed him. Yeah, exactly. And he just won the league with Lille. He was a good young French midfielder that was on the precipice of the French team, and I thought, he could actually fit our system really well next to Yuri, and then he just doesn't give a shit. He just doesn't care, and he was all right in Seville. Yeah, maybe he likes the warmer climate. Maybe England's a bit too cold for him. So get him back to Spain or France, and it worked wonders. There is a player there, and that's the annoying thing. There is genuinely a footballer there that has talent.
It's just stubbornness.
Yeah, and I can see a lot of people can see it. And my frustration is that he just doesn't produce as often as he should do.
That's the thing. That one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the determination and the willpower to do it, you won't go anywhere.
It makes you laugh, though, isn't it? It's just like,
well, if you don't laugh, you're going to cry.
You want him to do well, and it's like I get frustrated with him. I seen him at Ipswich last season, and he shoved them players on the floor. I'm thinking, mate, I want to see more of that. And then you seen him at Tottenham last season. He was bossing the game in that midfield. And then you come to it and you think, Booba, mate, what? Like, you do something well, and why can't you carry that on? Like, what's stopping you from doing that? And
he's and then, like, was it United where he lost the ball because he fell over, and then they scored, and you're just like, oh, what the fuck, mate? And the amount. So I got told on Twitter by somebody that, like, we give him a rap. He was one of our better players last season. You obviously didn't watch any of the games. I was like, mate, I was there for every home game and quite a lot of the away games. I watched him flounce around the pitch, just not running after a man. Like, what are you talking about? He's awful. Oh, yeah, it's really annoying.
I was there for the game. It did make me laugh. I'm sorry. Do you know what? He's probably the most frustrating player in that team. He is. I really hope Marty can actually get through to him. I do. I just think the stubbornness is what's getting him. He, like Reece said, there's a good player in there. He just doesn't show it. Like, why?
Yeah.
What is the core of it of why you can't do that, Booba? I want to know. Like, you were doing it at Lille, fantastic midfielder that year, and that's why we brought him. He comes to Leicester, and it's like, why can't you show what you was doing at Lille to us? And then we'd be like, okay, mate, you're a fantastic midfielder, but we haven't. And I think he's struggled massively. You know, like, it's just mad.
I think, Iris, the step up is from France to the Premier League is quite a big one to take. So maybe that's why he's a good player for France or maybe even Italy. But the physicality of the Premier League, where you have to work for the ball, he's just not good enough. And it is the most frustrating thing when you see a player that has genuine talent, but just no willpower to do any of the hard work for a midfielder, which is the place where you need to have an engine. And he's just like, can't be arsed, fuck it. Oh.
I mean, if you're on 80 grand a week, you just put your feet apart at this point.
Oh, yeah, exactly. God.
Steve, we might have to do it more often. When we next get to Seagrave, we could get a deck chairs out. I said we're on 80 grand a week.
It's bad enough going to watch them on every other Saturday, watch them run around on the pitch anyway. I can't go to training and do it. I know I've got no hair. It's growing back at the moment, but I'd have even less hair now if I watch them train every week.
You pull it out after last season's bloody shenanigans, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I saw a video of Daka scoring an over a kick in training earlier, and I'm like, where the fuck did that come from?
Do you know what, Marty? Might have actually found something, might have unlocked that treasure box.
So as long as he's upside down, he'll score goals, is what you're saying. So he's going to stand on his head and just hop and then score. Yeah, perfect. That'll work. The weird tactic, I've got to say, but it could work.
Do you know what? If Booba stays, it's going to be... I just hope Marty can actually get through to him. I really do, because no manager's actually done it. Reece, what's your thoughts on everything today? Obviously, there's been a lot of news, a lot of discussion. We have got one player left to discuss in the minute regarding Mads Hermansen, but
Mhm.
we've been starved to death regarding Leicester City news, and everything seems to have come out of the woodwork in one big ball thrown at us today. What's your thoughts on everything?
Well, I'm just looking through your title. Obviously Leeds make Bilal inquiry. I think I'm going to be honest. I think that's a bit of a sidestep for him because they're highly possible to come straight back down, and then he's a Championship player again. So I think he's better waiting for a bigger club to come in for him. So that's why I'd say to him, have this one season. You're only 20 years old. 21? Is he 21? 20? Whatever he is. You're still a young. Yeah, you're not even. You're nowhere near your peak. So why don't you just stay for one more season, try and get us promoted, and either way we'll sell you. If we get to the Premier League, great. We get big money, you get your big move because you perform really well. Or even if we don't go up, we'll still get a decent amount of money for him anyway. Booba, I had a debate on Leicester Till I Die about this, and all of the panel were against me on it, and I'll stand by it. On the ball, ability-wise, he is our best midfielder, and I stand by that. He's got all the attributes. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got precision, he's got a good first touch. He's got everything there. He's got the whole package. We've seen it. We've seen it against Ipswich. We've seen it against Spurs. So he has got it in his locker, and he performed at a really high level. I understand why.
I'm quick over 1 yard.
Well, maybe he's not got pace, but he's got that Yaya Toure. He's got that Yaya Toure frame about him, where he's just a big ball. You can't when he's on form. Maybe. All right, I'll tell about the pace comment, but you know what I mean. He's got the full package of a great midfielder. I don't see him as a holding midfielder. I see him as a box to box. And Brendan Rodgers, when he brought him to the club, he tried to convert him to a number 6, and I thought you're wasting his qualities there. He's a box to box. He's got the energy to get forward, backwards and forwards. And unfortunately, his work ethic is piss poor. But that is what happens when you give out big wages to average players, that don't deserve that sort of money. But I'd say on the ball.
There for a second.
Yeah. I thought you were going to name them all, and I thought, fucking hell, we're going to be here all night if you have to name all of them.
When you mentioned everything, including pace, I thought that's my most midfielder I want in this league. Someone who tries. It's crazy.
What are your thoughts on this Josh Brownhill link? I don't get it. I don't get it.
I'd take him if we're sensible about the deal, but I don't want to sit there and offer him 80 grand a week.
He's going to be a free transfer. He's going to want mega wages. He's just helped Burnley get promoted to the Premier League. No, and he's 29. He's not even in the top. He's 29 years old.
They didn't want to go over their wage structure.
Thank you.
He's 29 years old, and the sell-on thing's going to be the issue in it. I'll be fair, but he's a fantastic midfielder without no disrespect.
Look, if fucking Burnley don't want to keep him, why the fuck are we going for him? And he was their captain.
Yeah.
So come on,
in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just.
He turned down a 3 year.
I'm an idiot apparently because I said that, and I should stick to FIFA because I said that he's a decent player, but he's not worth the money that we'd offer him.
Completely agree.
Because you're
not an idiot.
30-year-old. We've never been stuck with older players on high contracts before, have we? It's never happened to Leicester. So
no, definitely not. No.
Change,
The thing is, Steve, Burnley did want him, but he rejected the 3 year deal.
But I reject living in Burnley too. It's Burnley. It's a shithole.
Well, Leicester's not much better, is it?
No, I agree. But we have some nice areas. That's why it's gone. It's a lot nicer up here.
It's just crazy. It is.
What else have we discussed, lads?
We've discussed El Khannouss to Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
We've discussed Justin to Leeds United.
That's a strange one. That's a very strange one, in my opinion.
Would you sell him though? If you get the right money for him, I mean, 6 million average of what we get for him.
It's hard. it's so hard because he's got 12 months left. So this is our last chance to get some money for him.
Luca would fit that bill quite well in that position, I'll be honest.
Oh, okay. Give me an offer. Right, your Leeds. What's your offer for him?
I'd say 6 mil.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Absolutely, with 1 year left. Exactly.
Yeah.
Main
I think,
he scored 18 goals from midfield. It is. And we don't know what the points deduction scenario is going to be. The thing is, more focused on Sheffield Wednesday at the minute, aren't they? And this is what the NFL's focused on. The Premier League, I don't know what their bloody game is. I don't know whether this Man City thing's going to come to a head at some point, but I highly doubt it. Anyone with a year left should be open to offers. Exactly. But then who's going to offer the money for our players is the problem. We've not got any outside the door, have we, to say, no, buy your players?
I mean, you've seen Wrexham come in for Kone. If they offer him 25, 30 grand, he ain't going there. He ain't going.
He definitely
He's got too much money here.
So the only way I'd say he would go to Wrexham on that sort of money is because it would push him stateside. You know, he'll be a big figure in their documentary, so he'll get more work, and you could probably see him on like ESPN or whatever, or, you know, with Micah Richards and Thierry Henry at some point. You know, but I can't see him wanting to leave when he's on 70-odd grand a week here. You know,
it's not happening.
Leuven should have some of them, shouldn't they? Like Vestergaard, you know, maybe push them to the sister club. Let them have them in the Belgian league. See if they can actually do something.
Unfortunately, we have this thing called human rights over here, and we can't just force people out of the country when we want to. You know, especially when they're like people like Yannick Vestergaard or Samare or, you know, Wout Fass. I'd put him on a dinghy straight away, Wout Fass. You know, that's not me saying we should definitely have human rights in the country. That is something we should. I'm not saying human rights. No. But Wout Fass, I could put him on a dinghy and just push him into the sea, and he could just end up where he ends up. It's fine. I'm happy with that.
What's your thoughts on Cody Reese for $2 million?
Take it, and get him gone. Take it. You're not gonna get any more than 2 to 3, probably 3 maximum. 3 absolute maximum you're gonna get for him. Take the $2 million. Get him off the books, and that's more PSR like towards the good in terms of wages and stuff. Get him gone. Get him gone. Yeah. He's not gonna fit this system. He can't play the Marti Cifuentes way.
Yeah. Has Vardy found the club yet? Because I swear he delivers my post. You're on Lee Chappie.
On about Lee.
You're on about Lee. Jamie Vardy might even consider coming back to Leicester at this rate. Bloody hell.
Love the guy, but no.
Yeah, I don't want. He had the perfect send off, 200 goals, 400 appearances. We don't need him back at the club.
No, and his wages were a burden. On the club.
Wrexham fans should be listening to what Leicester fans are saying regarding Conor Cody.
No, they shouldn't. No. Everyone keep quiet.
He's amazing. He's the best centre back at the club. Yeah. Take him. Don't take him, please.
If you don't scare them away, I am not going to be happy. It's not you. You stop talking to Wrexham fans.
Wrexham fans, we are absolutely devastated. He wants to leave. He's our best centre back. We're going to really, really miss him. So please don't take him, please.
And if you want Wout Fass for the same price, look, you're going to have to a hands behind our backs. Tied up between take him, please.
I agree.
We can't keep him anymore.
They literally brought Danny Ward.
Danny Fraud, fucking
exactly.
Yeah, as a number 2 goalkeeper.
No, actually,
as a number 2.
According to a Wrexham fan, he's number 3.
Oh my god! Well, that says it all.
They only signed him because I kept emailing them just those clips against Walsall in the cup. That was every day, just keep sending them the clips. Always pretty good.
I will say though, he's one of the best penalty stoppers I've ever seen at the club. That's what I will give him.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the in terms of
I agree. Yeah.
Well, for the money he was earning, he's got to be good at something, right? He's going to be in training. I think in training he'll just stand in the goal and they do target practice at him. Perfect. So he's got to be good at something.
I did my predictions, my league predictions with and he said, "Send me your top 2, your playoffs, and all that." And I put us in the top 2 because because I still think with -9 points, I still think we'll get promoted because this league is piss poor. This league is piss poor, and I don't understand all this Birmingham hype. They're just because they've got a lot of money. Like, I mean, all right, they've signed Damari Gray, good player, but is he going to push them to promotion? I don't think so. You know, all these Wrexham and Birmingham, they're going to really push for promotion. I can't see it. I can't see it.
Wrexham, I've got 15th.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable for a first season for them.
I've got them in the top half.
Yeah, I agree.
With the dark horses, I think they've had a good window.
See, Jack, I bet you didn't expect, for me and Reece to join and start shitting on other clubs for you on your late night whistle.
No,
so
no, I didn't. Reece brought up the championship predictions. Look how it helped Ipswich, exactly. Ipswich did well in League One. Fantastic. Come up to the championship, people were like, yeah, they're going to finish bottom or something like that. And then all of a sudden, they've rose from the bloody ashes and just went and won the bloody second.
Leicester,
I'm not sure. It's the case of how many points. What is the scenario? Can we get a striker who can score goals? Because if we can't, I sort of think of third place, but then I think we can finish second. It's tough.
I do think that, and I'm really confident this season that I think even if we finish, even in the playoffs, I still think we'll walk it. I really do. I think we're that much better, and I think on paper, and I think most people, we've got the best squad in the championship. I don't give a shit what people say. We've got the best squad in that championship.
The top two last season, we beat them both.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I think Ipswich have a better squad than us because, in the sense of
squad, yes, starting 11, maybe not.
But you could pick some of their players that would come. We would take George Hurst now over Patson Daka. I'd take Hurst all day long.
Would we?
Well, he fit Marty's system better than because he can hold up the ball and he can press as well. So but then Daka is as good as an oak tree at times. So but there are players in that squad that I would take over some of ours.
I'm trying to think of like their good players. I mean, Amara Hutchinson, good player. Does he get in over Abdul on his best day? I don't think so.
Lee Davis would walk into our squad.
Yes, that I'll give you that one. He is a top quality player.
Oh, Reece, you know Ethan, don't you?
Ethan,
who's on blue tinted glasses.
Oh yeah.
He's got a love fest for George Hurst. He said George Hurst will finish top scorer and win Player of the Year in the Championship.
It's a big shout. I'll tell you to put some money on.
Go on.
And I mean, it's an outsider bet, but hear me out. Jordan, are you?
Yeah.
An outsider bet. And I have to say, I've been really impressed with him in pre-season.
Yeah.
Just hear me out.
To be fair. Yeah, he's done all right in pre-season so far. I think he'll do well in the Championship.
Jack Clark's a great player in the Championship.
Yeah.
Who do you think Leicester's Player of the Year is going to be? Looking at our squad now. Who do you think? You're going for Taiwo. I've gone Abdul.
Yeah.
Reece, what about you? If we sell El Khannouss.
I was going to say, if we keep Bilal, I think it'll be Bilal. But
do you win Player of the Year and the Young Player of the Year?
No, I don't think he'll win both. I think Young Player of the Year will be hands down Jeremy Mongo.
Yeah. Sure.
Reece is on it tonight, Samara, best midfielder. Start scoring the championship.
Look, ability-wise, in terms of on the ball, natural ability, he's our best midfielder. Indeed, he can't do what he can do. Winks can't do what he can do.
Reece, what have you been smoking in your pipe, mate?
Oh, it's just pineapple, peach, and mango, mate. I've had a little bit of a drink tonight as well at the pool, so.
So, Mavdini, if Jordan Ayew gets top scorer, I'll get my face tattooed.
Yeah, I will happily, if Jordan Ayew is our top goal scorer at the end of the season, I will get Ayew tattooed on my leg.
I love it.
Not his face. I'm not getting his face tattooed on my leg. I'll just get his name.
Right, I want to see if Patson Daka gets top scorer this season, Steve. I want to see a Patson Daka face on your back, mate.
No. I said IU. I'm not doing Daka. Jesus Christ. We've got another year of IU at least.
I'll take you up on that bet. I'll take you up on that bet.
Patson Daka on your back.
Well, no, I'll have him on me wrist here. Just put Daka there.
You won't get rid of him to other clubs.
Well,
Even if
I mean,
Bilal Fatawu will still be our best player, mate. Fatawu, he looks like he's never been away.
I tell you what, he looks sharp as though he looks really sharp.
He won't start a week on Sunday though, for sure. I still think that with the injury that he had, you don't want to rush him back too quickly. I think you give him 2 or 3 games coming on off the bench, see how he is, and then he'll start sort of September-ish.
He does look sharp though. He does look sharp.
Yeah.
Who are we looking at, Abdul?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. I think, you know what, McAteer could play a different position this season. I know people have spoken of him as a striker, but
no. Just no. Just
why?
No. I mean, look, I love him. I love the boy. He's a local lad, and he tries his hardest, and he's a very good player. As a striker, no, we need a natural number 9 who's going to score goals, and it's not guaranteed he'll score goals. So I love him. Absolutely love Casey, and I think he'll have an important role to play. But I can see Mabadidi more of a striker than McAteer.
Reese has been on one tonight. Good shout. McAteer is honestly like, if you could pick a player like for Leicester for like young player of the year, you definitely have him Monga, aren't you?
100%. 100%.
I think Monga could surprise the Championship next season because people from other clubs speak about him like this guy's something special, and it's not just Leicester fans. It's like we need to keep quiet on him, innit, of how good he actually is. Because if we don't, Real Madrid are going to come back in at one point and say, "Oh, we'll give you like 100 million quid for him."
So my biggest issue with Monga and the praise that we're all giving him is that people need to remember he's 15 years of age.
Is this
16? 16.
Sorry, 16 years of age. He's still growing. You don't stop growing until sort of early 20s as a player. So we shouldn't be giving him every minute under the sun in the Championship. Start him in some games, in the cup games, great. Bring him on for the last 20 minutes, okay, perfect. But you can't rely on playing a 16-year-old week in, week out in the Championship, because you look at players like Dele Alli, who started off really quickly and then has just fallen off a cliff before he's at the age of 30. Wayne Rooney, started really quickly, was world class for a number of years, but by the age of 30, he'd lost it. And you, as much as I want this player to succeed and is to have 10 years with him, great. But with him still being young, if you give him loads and loads of minutes, he's going to get injured. And if he gets one big injury at this stage, it could hamper his entire development for his entire career. So I keep saying this to people, like, yes, he's an amazing talent, and I can't wait to see him play, again and again and again. But he's 16, just give him time. You stop overhyping somebody, because the money that he's going to get next year, because it's rumored that he's being paid 20 grand a week when he signed his professional deal at the age of 17. That could go to his head, and he could quite easily flip and just go out drinking, like Pogba, those sort of players go out drinking and
Instagram.
Or Neymar, sorry, not Pogba. And then, not so much ruin his career, but it takes a big toll. So
you could you could bring up a Lamine Yamal, though, winning the Euros at 16, and is one of the best players in the world, though.
Wrexham.
You could, but then also he's just turned 18 and he's just been done for having towards at his party. So,
There's
still a long way to go for these players. But we're not Barcelona. We don't have a history of bringing through young players that are world class. And Monga has the potential to be that player, but I just don't want us to overplay him at this age when he's nowhere near finished growing, and he suffers an injury, and then he's just not the same,
Steve, you're getting in the comments.
I'm going to find you, Frankie. I'm going to find you.
I will look for you. I will find you. I'm not
And I'll
repeating the
talk
last
to you
bit.
about Jordan Ayew all day.
Wrexham close to signing Kiefer Moore for $2 million. He's
Great signing.
on 40 grand at Sheffield United. They're willing to pay him more than what he's on. That their wage structure is going to be a little different, and all in it with how much they're going to be spending on a lot of players. Wrexham isn't.
Well, the PSR in the League One compared to the Championship is completely different. So they could get away with it last year because they were spending money on wages and stuff, but because of the money they were bringing in because of Disney Plus and the merchandise sales and stuff, it was okay. And League One is their finances isn't as it's not like the Championship. Stepping up to the Championship when you've got free relegated sides on parachute payments, Sheffield United on parachute payments. These clubs that are big commercially.
Yeah.
It's what Wrexham earn. I wouldn't say because their stadium is quite small. It doesn't hold up to a Leicester. The amount of money they earn commercially, or our stadium's double the size pretty much. So they can spend the money, and they'll probably have a couple of years where they can spend big. But if they don't go up for 2 years, then PSR will soon hit them in the arse for spending that money. But their job is they want to get up to the Premier League, get that money, and see. And if they go down again, then great, they've made it. It's the fairy tale, but it's not because they've overspent in every single league to bring players in that were better quality. In National League, they brought in a League One level striker, and he smashed up the league. And again in League Two, they overspend on players that are too good for the league. But you can't do that here. You're coming up against teams that have been Championship clubs for a long time. They've got Championship players that. I think they will struggle. They'll do all right. I don't think they'll get relegated. No. I said
they won't get down.
I said they would. That was my bold prediction for the season: is they get relegated. But you could easily see them finishing sort of 16th, 17th.
Right, boys. The moment we've all been waiting for: the formal approach from West Ham United for Mads Hermansen. Dave, they're obviously after another goalkeeper from Parma, aren't they? West Ham. It has been reported. But Mads Rees, he has been in training with Leicester City. Some people have said he ain't been in training. We haven't seen him, but he has put photos up. There has been video footage of him diving for the ball. He is looking sharp in training. But now they've made the formal approach, how much is Mads Hermansen worth? Because West Ham are going to try and sort of lowball us here and say, well, he was injured most of last season, but we're going to give you as much as we think he's worth. How do you think Leicester handle this situation, and what is the price tag you'd sort of stick on him? Because is it Bromby, was it, who we brought him from?
5 million, yeah.
Yeah, so they've got a sell-on clause as well, so we've got to make bloody more money so we can give them a bit.
Well, obviously they're going to bring it up that he was injured, but we can bring up the argument and say, before he got injured, in terms of shot stopping, he was one of the best keepers in the league. That performance against Arsenal, it was fantastic. I think in the Championship, I think we should be looking at least 25 million, in my opinion. I mean, in the Premier League, obviously being a Premier League goalkeeper, we could have asked for maybe 35, 40, but obviously we're not a Premier League club anymore. But I think 25 is a reasonable price. You're getting a young, talented goalkeeper who's very good at playing out from the back and would suit Graham Potter's style. So, I think 25 mil, I think seems reasonable. But obviously we've not seen how much they've offered or anything. I mean, I read the other day a loan. Was it an obligation to buy? Piss off. If you want him, if you want him, pay the money.
Yeah.
If you want him, pay the money.
Reese is on one tonight, honestly.
You've never heard me like this before, Jack, have you?
Let's have to tell you, so I think we're suitable to be all right at this minute in time.
For me, our biggest issue is that we brought him back from injury when we should have just left him. If we knew that he was going to be leaving, gets injured in the Newcastle game, and you just don't play him again for the season, because that way they think, oh shit, he was really good before the Newcastle game, 30 million, wonderful. But they saw him for the 3 or 4 games that he came back. He wasn't great, and I think that lowers the value a little bit. And then obviously going to the Championship lowers it as well. If we held out for 35 million, he wouldn't go, and we need the money. So yeah, Reece is right. 25 million with add-ons, I'm happy with that. That's okay. He's worth more than that because he's still young.
27, James Trafford went for 27 plus add-ons.
Exactly, yeah.
He's a better goalkeeper than him. He's a better goalkeeper than him.
Yeah, Trafford had a really poor Premier League season with
27.
Burnley, and then he did again in the Championship. He did all right, but Mads is 25 million is fine. It brings money into the club. We can then go out and buy some players. We'd all like more, but let's be realistic. We always, as I said earlier, we always overprice our players because we're Leicester fans, and we think that these players are worth more than they are. So yeah, 25 million.
You brought up a good point there, Steve, about we shouldn't have brought him back from injury. We had a goalkeeper in form at the time. He just put in a man of the match performance against Spurs. You didn't need to bring him back. So that's the problem with again just forcing players back for the sake of it. Like, we've got a track record of doing this with other players as well, and it needs to stop now. Because Jesus Christ, like, we need money for these players. Don't cripple them.
Yeah, and his wages aren't very big, so. We're not getting a lot off wages-wise, but the fee will go a long way in to be able to, push for that striker and whoever. And that's the main caveat here is that you need the money in. We can't wait to the last week of the transfer window to bring players in and panic. You need to bring those signings in now and bed them in before the season starts.
He has got a high ceiling, Mads. He has got a high ceiling. He can be a top goalkeeper. He'll be Denmark's number one at some point when Kasper Schmeichel laces up his boots.
Probably at the World Cup.
Maybe. He is pushing for that, though, isn't he? And this is what, when you look at international football, the coaches want them to be playing at the top leagues, don't they? They don't want them to be playing in the Championship, Liga, second tier, in French football's second tier, and that. They want them to be playing at the top of the leagues. It's just crazy. 25 is reasonable for Mads at minimum. I'd say 30 if I'm honest. But Leicester always wants, and I agree with Steve about pushing them back early. It's the case of he got injured at Newcastle away, didn't go for the operation, did he? And they just all of a sudden, just Leicester are like, we'll push you back here. Come to Everton away and conceded 2 goals in 16 minutes. And we were like,
I was at that game. I was fuming. Absolutely fuming.
We need a complete wage restructure.
We
do, but the issue is we all know that, but I don't think the club actually do. They look at the money coming in and they probably think, we can limp along and still pay these wages and it'll be fine. But I still don't think they've learned their lesson from PSL for the last 3 or 4 years. No. I think we'll probably fail again this year. Coming into the new year, and if we don't give the EFL our accounts at the end of this season, the end of December, we could be forced to do their business plan. So we tried that last time when we came down. We were like, oh no, you can't say we're going to fail. There's no guarantee that we're going to fail. We're not giving you our accounts, and then we fucked ourselves. So that'll be the biggest thing. If we've still got the same players come the end of the transfer window that we've got now that we don't like, and we get hit with a 9 points deduction, and then we get hit again in December or January, like the amount of shit that's going to happen, like it's going to be so toxic in that stadium again. And the club, I just don't think the club cares. I just don't think they do.
They just feel that everything's fine, like nothing's wrong, and this is the issue. It's just blindsiding everything that's actually going on, the reality of it, And that Tribe says here, club has sold as a kipper 4 years back, stadium expansion, indoor arena, hotel, etc., etc. We have relegation now, points deduction, and the rest. That is a massive flip of the coin, ain't it, Reece?
It is, yeah. It's poor management and poor decision making at the top of the club, and Top has to take responsibility for that because at the end of the day, he's the one that signs the books. He's the one that signs off every transfer, every managerial appointment. Because it's his club. I mean,
weeks.
I mean, I do like where he's gone with this managerial appointment. I'm hoping it leads to a sort of what's the long term thinking, like the long term thinking plan of what style of football we want.
Longevity.
Yeah, that's it. Longevity of the club in terms of how we want to play football.
Possibly.
And I think with potentially Marty coming in and playing an exciting brand of football, I think that's going to take a lot of the heat off the board, because the fans are going to be like, oh my God, we're watching this exciting football potentially. And, I have to say, if Top has made this managerial appointment and he said no to Wilder and I think, was it Gary O'Neill, then fair play to him, because this is a progressive appointment in terms of where we can go in the future.
Right, boys, I got some breaking news for you from Anthony Joseph, right?
Okay.
An update on Connor Cody to Wrexham. So Wrexham are close to agreeing a £2 million deal with Leicester and Connor Cody. It's understood negotiations have accelerated today following Wrexham's bid, and talks are progressing well. There's a willingness from all parties to come to an agreement soon. That's from Anthony Joseph. They're close to agreeing on a £2 million deal for Connor Cody.
That's how I feel. Oh my God. Okay, it's happening. Everyone stay calm.
You want to get on your feet then, Stephen? Go start walking around.
I've still got a fractured coccyx. I can't do much moving.
Great news.
Yeah.
Crazy. Great news. Get him off the wage bill. Get him off the wage bill. Never mind the money about what we're getting from him in terms of transfer wise. Just get him off the wage bill. He's a burden on the club with his wages.
This is a start now of the clubs.
Yeah.
Getting rid of these players.
One down, about 9 to go now.
There's more than bloody 9, I think, with some of the players.
Well, yeah, true. Yeah, Who would you lads after Cody? Who would you lads push out the door? Like let's say
Pass.
2 players. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I would grab him by the hair and I'll chuck him in the canal. Fuck him off. God, let him float somewhere else. He's like a bad stench.
I'd have said Vestergaard.
See, I think Yannick's got a role to play under Marty.
Yeah, but the way he's handled things with walking his dog around the training ground and the amount of managers his attitude stinks. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I can forgive that. He didn't score 2 goals against Liverpool away from home. So,
Steve, don't you dare bring that up. I was there.
Ever since then, he was all.
I said, if he can't do it once, surely he can't do it again. And he did. And then he somehow kicked the ball when it goes in.
When he first comes to the club, he was okay. He looked all right. He didn't look great, but he didn't look bad. He was a steady centre off. But as soon as after that game, he turned into fucking biggest load of shit I've ever seen. Sideshow Bob.
I read he had an interview with somebody after his time for us, and apparently he got the call with his wife whilst they were sat in a car on overlooking the sea on a cliff that he was signing for Leicester. And I was thinking, why the fuck did he put the handbrake on? Like, he could have just rolled off that cliff and he'd have saved us so much hassle. Like, God. I mean, I don't want him dead, obviously. Just injured enough where he didn't sign for us would have been great. But if there was a God would have opened up that handbrake and he just rolled off the hill. Or I'm just saying.
Oh my God, Steve, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Proper made my night.
Why did he put the handbrake on?
We're gonna leave it there. We've let Steve. Steve, thanks for coming on, mate.
No worries, buddy. Anytime.
Take it easy, mate.
He's a character.
Oh, I love him. Absolutely love him. He's a great bloke. Absolutely great bloke.
Reece.
Love him. Yeah.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
It's been a good laugh and that. And
it has been a good laugh. I've enjoyed it.
Hopefully now we can get bloody players like Podcaster and everyone out the door.
Well, yeah. Well, let's hope it's the start. Obviously now we've got a manager in, and he can start thinking, right, I don't want him, and I don't want him. So yeah.
We'll see. Right, thanks for coming on, Reece.
Take it easy. See you, chap.
46 likes, get them likes up. Yeah, thanks to Steve, thanks to Reece, really appreciate the late night whistle. Many of you have stuck with us, by the way. We have chatted some bollocks, I'll be honest, but we have discussed everything we need to. Bilal, Hermansen, Justin, Brownhill, we've discussed everything, even Richie Kone and everybody else when we've talked about. But always a great show. Subscribe to the channel. Any idea when the kit's out? When to get a sponsor on the shirt, I believe, but I don't know when that's going to be. But hopefully we'll hear more on it soon. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Have a great rest of the night, wherever you're up to. Tomorrow is going to be the day we get to a new month in August. We won't be far till the season starts now. The championship starts a week tomorrow, by the way. So how fast this bloody week's gone. Wow, honestly. But let's get on with it. But thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great rest of your evening, night, wherever you is, wherever you're up to, wherever you're watching us from. Morning, night, evening. Yeah, fair dues. Catch you soon.